Oh, yeah, you don't even need to ask. You knew it was coming, okay? I know. Some of you thought, maybe I'm forgetting this week. Maybe I'm forgetting this week. No, there's so many great earnings coming out this week. I couldn't miss it. We're talking the week of May 22nd. That's right. I'm posting this probably the morning of May 22nd. Hope you're excited. Let's see what happens. But okay, it's been busy. Never been busier in my life. Busiest weekend I've ever had. Busiest weekdays I've ever had. The whole week, so busy. But I'm here to make up for it now. Let's get crack-a-lackin' and get right into it, folks. That is right. This is gonna be great. We're starting off with, well, a Monday that's got some companies some people might be excited about here. Me, not so much. I mean, we start off here with none other than, yeah, that's right, Monday before open. It's going to be Zim. You may know him from his antics in trying to conquer the world. Um, is that actually a thing? Look. Here's just a picture of him. Anyways, do I remember anything about Invader Zim as a show? I don't. I remember I had watched it before, and he talks like this. No, I don't think that's the voice. I don't think that's the voice. I think I remember it wrong. That was Patrick Mahomes. I messed that one up. Anyways, Zim before open Monday. Look, that's a joke, folks. Global E, this is not just your normal single country E, right? This is not just a national E. This is a global E. Very important. You got to know it. I personally think if it was global, you should capitalize to really show that importance. But when you think about it, the fact that it is a lowercase e does make it look more of a globe shape. The only issue with that is, now the globe may be spherical, but the Earth is flat, so it would have made more sense for them to do a uppercase E because we've got a lot more flat edges to represent the Earth. Just a thought. Um, Nanox, that's just not even real, whatever you are. NIU, this is one that I always see it, it always gets me confused. We've got both NEO and NIU, and both of them make electric vehicles. Now, one of them, with the U, right, NIU, they make mostly two-wheeled vehicles. So that's what makes them different. Electric two-wheeled vehicles, we're talking scooters and the like. That's NIU. Don't get confused with NEO, which makes cars, four doors. What? Four wheels. Don't even know where that came from out of my eyes. Out of my eyes? What's going on right now? I'm losing it. Um, Ice Cure Cryotherapy Solutions, huh? Never heard of the company, but do you think, I'm guessing they probably make ice baths. Anyways, Nordic American Tankers, a lot of these oil refinery type companies, you look at Zim Integrated, you look at Nordic, um, one to take a look at, right? One to take a look at. One Connect, look, I don't even know. That's from Guangdong, China. I don't even have a clue about that one. Ryanair, screw Ryan. Anyways, after close, probably what a lot of people are going to be following is Zoom. And why are they going to follow it? This is a stock that has gone beyond belief. Just the absolute implosion. Should have had this one pulled up before. But I should have just typed in ZM stock. I know the symbol. I know the symbol. You saw it before I said that. This is an absolute implosion of a stock, right? Over last year, I mean, again, not terrible. Um, Down 22% total, but year to date, not terrible. But look at it from the peak here. I mean, this thing in peak COVID times, can't say that, I'm fired. Fired from YouTube, down 87% since their overall high that occurred 3 years ago. It has been a steady downfall since that time period. Now, again, you even look from 2021, this thing's down 80 something percent. I mean, this is a time span of just 2 years. This is a massive downward movement. They're going to need something to go into their direction here to assist them. Now, obviously, what does benefit them is the fact that people were still using their products a decent amount. I mean, it's not. Let's just be clear with each other. It's not like this is the overwhelmingly used video chat software anymore. There's so many other options out there. Microsoft Teams obviously exists. Teams meetings, they're not great, don't love them, but they're not bad. None of these services are, in my opinion, none of these video chat systems are necessarily better than the other. So companies may go with something like Cisco WebEx. They may go with something like Microsoft Teams for their meetings. Zoom, I know, doesn't necessarily have the reputation as being as professional. Let's just be honest with each other. Whereas you go with a company like Microsoft, they do a lot of other business partnerships. Anyways, a lot of what you have there, most of their computers are running off of Microsoft Windows, folks. Okay? Or they may have Cisco phones, soft phones or hard phones. I've got both depending on what I'm looking at, soft or hard. So, anyways, that's Zoom here for you. There's a long back to go to recovery. Now, will they ever reach that price they were at before? Let's just be honest with each other. I think that's a pipe dream to expect that. But what you can hope is to maybe spring this thing back up into the chain where it can maybe reach triple digits in a few years, right? I mean, that's your hope. I just don't know, right? The company's financials aren't beautiful. They're just not. We look at the data, it's just not where some investors want that to be, right? Even for a tech company, they don't, because you're not going to see the massive growth anymore. It's just not there. Now, it was back in 2020. Great investment for the people who got in on the ground floor. Awful investment for you already know, hundreds of thousands of people that probably bought this stock at 500 something dollars a share. I mean, the real motto is you always buy a stock once it's at its highest point that it's ever reached in its history, right? That's the greatest thing. You always buy high. It's the best time to do it. It's when you get the best price for it. Anyways, let's move on with pet meds. This paw's only got these, it's cute. It's a cute little four-fingy paw. Makes sense, right? It looks like a paw. Kind of like a bear paw almost. Let's just be real. But it's pretty cool. Pretty cool. Never used that service, so I don't know. Um, Capital Southwest. What is this? Rival? Okay, not. I mean, we're just gonna replace the vowels with y's. So technically, they are still vowels, though. Good point. That is a good point. Technically, there are two vowels in this one still. Or are they only gonna count this as one vowel? That is a great question because how do we not know this rule? Let's see. If there are two Y's in a word, how many vowels are there? Do you think that's a question? No, okay, never mind. Never mind, folks. That's just forget it. Forget that existed. Oh gosh, I'm gonna go ask my high school English teacher. Um, I'm not actually. I don't plan on going back to my high school to ask. Anyways, you got Nordson, similar there. Lufax, yet again. Now Transcat, this one just gets me a little upset, right? I mean, I get it. First Amendment. You can say what you want. You can be what you want, maybe. I don't know about that. But can you really be an animal? Look, now you are an absolute foul beast. There's no doubt about it. But are you a cat? No. You're just a heathen. Heiko, not quite Geico. And Alti. Okay, look, folks. Tuesday before open, we're getting into some good ones. Look, this one, it's comical. Let's get past Lowe's. First off, then we're going to get into some pure comedy. Lowe's, we just saw Home Depot report last week. Obviously, that gives a great indicator into Lowe's. Now, again, not the same exact business, a little bit different, but very similar. You can definitely take a look at the two of them because they do the exact same business model, right? Home improvement, it's the exact same thing. They sell a lot of the same products. Now, Home Depot, their issue, they hit on an EPS line. They just missed these sales by a large margin because of just lack of demand. Now, you would assume that would also come into play with Lowe's. We shall see. I'd love to look at it. Speaking of what I'd love to look at, Dick's Sporting Goods. Um, Anyways, Dick's Sporting Goods right on top of BJ's. You can't make this up, guys. I mean, we're putting BJ's and Dick's right next to each other now. Makes me excited. There's no doubt about it. And I'm not talking about the earnings, just the prospect. Um, Look, I don't know. I actually haven't been in a Dick's Sporting Goods in forever. Just being honest. I mean, come on now. Just the pricing there, not great, right? You can get things a lot cheaper elsewhere. But then we get into BJ's. Why do I bring up BJ's? Well, another wholesaler, and because that's great for one of our focus stocks later on being Costco, right? I'm more excited about Costco than I am for BJ. Well, I can't say that. I can't say that. Let's just be honest. Am I right, fellas? Am I right? Anyways, I'd like to see what they do just to get a little bit of a head start there for Costco. And we did kind of get a little bit of a head start for Costco too when we saw Walmart earnings and Sam's Club posting pretty darn good numbers, right? The wholesale business has been booming ever since 2020, and they still are to this day. People are staying with them. So I'm excited to see it. AutoZone, I will never get in the AutoZone ever because they will just destroy you in terms of pricing, right? They will make stuff up. Eagle Point Credit Company, no idea. IHS, Williams Sonoma, you see them overpriced as always. Endava and VIP.com. Don't trust that one. That sounds like one of those websites I would not trust. I would not trust putting my credit card into, but you might be able to meet local singles, it sounds like. After close, Palo Alto. Now that's a stock that's worth following, folks. It's a big, big one, okay? I'll be following it. I know you will. Intuit, not so sure. I mean, you know what? This is going to be the quarter of TurboTax for them, right? This is. It literally is. This is tax season. It's actually definitely their biggest quarter from Intuit. We shall see what they do. I used the service this year. I usually don't have any loyalty to either one. H&R Block, TurboTax, whichever one. Um, Intuit TurboTax. It's okay. It gets the job done regardless. The government gets more of my money regardless, so who cares? VF Corporation, Agilent Technologies, Toll Brothers. You've heard me talk about them quite a bit before. Definitely am a fan of Toll Brothers. You know, just as far as like the houses that are produced by this company. Not that I'll ever be able to afford a house built by none other than the Toll Brothers. No, these are not the Property Brothers. Don't get it confused. These are not the Property Brothers. These are the Toll Brothers. A little bit different. Very high quality houses, though, and we're talking very high, expensive houses in expensive areas. So that's why I can't get one. Um, Urban Outfitters. Uh, it's okay. Urban Outfitters. We saw some decent numbers from these clothing retailers last week. We really did. So again, you might expect decent numbers from them. Now, again, most of their probably merchandise, well, obviously, vast majority of the merchandise is going to be sold in malls. Still is. It's kind of shocking. People are still going to malls. Everyone said they're dead. People still go to them. Now, I feel like there's not necessarily as much, but people are still going to them, folks. New Relic, Nautilus, Uma, Lexan. Okay. Then before open on Wednesday, we've got Analog Devices, Symbol ADI. We know them. Another one of these chip makers. Kind of a follow up. We've got a lot of chip makers that have already reported. Right. We're looking at AMD. We're looking at a lot of them. Why can't I think of another name of a chip maker all of a sudden? I can't think about it. Anyways, what we've seen from these companies is overall the results have been good. This quarter's been a great quarter for these companies. But what we're going to see is the forecast or the expectations issued by the company is not good. The outlook is very shaky. Now, it could be great, but they're just unsure. That's part of the issue here. So these stocks have wavered a decent amount. I mean, you never know. Then following them, we do have Kohl's. Well, Kohl's is one of my focus stocks. Okay, you already know why. Well, Kohl's down 22.5% already year to date. We look 1 year out, this stock's down 50%. This one's been absolutely smashed as of late, right? Kohl's can't catch a break. And why is that? There's been a lot of pressure on the bottom line, and there still is expected to be this quarter. We're talking about a negative EPS line yet again. This is a company that used to be pretty good when you look at an EPS standpoint. Um, the numbers were pretty good. Now, what are they expecting from a full year? That is worth noting, right? They are expected to get back into the EPS positive line, where last year they had a full year of negative EPS. It's a big shocker. But they are expected to recover even as of next quarter. So this quarter really sets the tone for what that trend is here. I'm really mostly focused on the EPS line for them. Now, they are expected to decline sales as well. That's worth noting. I think from a revenue perspective, it's probably a very small beat here. I think that line of 3.35 is probably around where they end up. It's not going to be a crazy quarter. I don't think they're going to lose too much. I think they're going to put up decent numbers. Again, my focus still, I'd be more focused on the perspective of the EPS. That's just my thought on it. That's what I want to care about. XPeng, another one of these Chinese EVs, XPeng. I'll follow the earnings, obviously. Stocks move massively on the earnings. So, you play something like a straddle strangle on this one, long straddle, long strangle. You might be able to make some money, right? Just depends. Now, if I did that play, just so you know, uh, the stock would move nowhere and I would lose all my money. But some of you might make some money. I promise. I won't do anything with this. I won't make any plays on it. I promise. BMO, my name is BMO Harris. Anyways, BMO, we get back into banking, and again, financials. We saw good quarters from them. Relatively good guidance too. Worth noting. Petco. I mean, Petco is what it is. It's Petco. Abercrombie and Fitch. Link them to Urban Outfitters a little bit there. Scotiabank. Once again, financials. I like looking at them because they've been recovering pretty well. Dorian, LPG, coal plant, I don't know, and Photronics. After close, a banger of a stock with Nvidia. And why do I say a banger? This stock is up 118% year to date. It just doesn't quit somehow. It just hasn't quit this year. And you want to know why? Because the earnings have been consistently good. They continue to beat. They continue to grow revenue. They continue to do good things. But here comes this quarter where, yet again, these other stocks, we saw some shaky numbers. Now, Nvidia expected 92 cents of EPS compared to a year ago of $1.36, right? That's a decent decline. On a full year basis, it's expected to be way over last year's, but still worth noting. This quarter is what we're looking at. From a revenue perspective, actually expected to drop 21%, 6.52 billion. Look, my opinion, they're going to beat on that, right? They're going to beat on this 6.52. I think the line they post is closer to a 6.9, 6.93, somewhere around that line. I think it's a beat. And you want to know why? I've seen a little bit of a heads up from companies like AMD. Now, AMD did decline 9% when you look at a revenue standpoint, but overall, they beat their expectations by a good margin. They beat their expenses or beat the gross profit from a good standpoint too. An EPS line definitely was better than expected by a good margin. Now it still was down massively. I think Nvidia will do similar numbers. They're not exactly the same company, right? Similar business model though, so it's worth mentioning. I think they do decent numbers. Snowflake after them. Don't follow the company after talk about the earnings, but very interesting one. Elf. Everyone knows Elf. Everyone knows. Always, I watch the movie every single Christmas. How could I not? Will Ferrell did a great job in this one. He really did. And they sell decent beauty products. Anyways, I love syrup. Splunk right after them. Then we've got Digital Turbine. UiPath, American Eagle Outfitters. I mean, look at this. Urban Outfitters, American Eagle Outfitters, Abercrombie and Fitch. You're all the same. Okay. You're all the same. Let's just be honest. Wherever you get your clothing manufactured from, I know it's from the same factory. Seattle Mobile, Red Robin, Red Robin, baby back ribs. I love them. Do love them. No, I've never. Look, I've been to Red Robin a couple times. They make a mean burger. The price still isn't too bad. I just am always a Chili's man, okay? You know I'm gonna get Chili's before I'm gonna get Red Robin any day of the week. And Zuara following them. But anyways, from Red Robin standpoint, we've seen really good numbers actually from the industry. I expect good numbers from the dining standpoint. Um, Thursday before open, Best Buy. How are you still alive, Best Buy? Who knows? How is the company still alive? Following them is $1.25 Tree. Now it's worth mentioning that because their real name is $1.25 Tree. They don't have anything in their stores that are a dollar anymore. It doesn't exist. $1.25. Thank you, Obama. Medtronic following them. TD Bank, another financial here, and again, another Canadian financial too. It's a week of Canadian financials, folks. CIBC. I mean, it's a week of Canadian financials. Burlington, not just the coat factory, they do more. The B is a heart or a nice set of cheeks. Kind of looks like me whenever I look in a mirror. Um, those are kind of the cheeks I'm seeing. Pretty plump, let me tell you. You doubt it, but it's true. Ralph Lauren, Polo Ralph Lauren. Look, you think I'm going to afford this expensive nonsense clothing brand? I'm not going to do this. Do they make nice clothes? Kinda. But you pay for the logo. Just be honest. Build-A-Bear Workshop. Look, I hadn't made a Build-A-Bear until probably a year ago, right? Fiance, she takes me there, and I got me a freaking Eevee, dude. I got me an Eevee from Build-A-Bear Workshop, and it was a great time. I did enjoy it. They had some fun ideas, or fun. Could I just rephrase everything I've said there? I'm erasing everything there. Just kidding. I'm not putting in that effort. Anyways, I got an Eevee. A lot of great options there, and you go all the time, and they have different options every other time. What? It's pretty sweet. Titan Machinery, and then another Canadian financial in RBC. Then we've got Costco. Oh, baby, you know I'm going to focus on Costco. This stock is up nearly 10% year to date, which is a great performance. 1 year full, 15% up. I mean, this is good performance. What are they expecting? Because this is important to me. $3.30 on an EPS line. I mean, that's great. You look year over year, that's supposed to be against a $3.04 line. I think the numbers are good for them. Now, again, the issue here we see with profit. Now, there are a little bit less Costco's than some of these other big retailers and less shrink overall, but theft in some of the, uh, the big cities. Let's just be clear. In some of the big cities, theft is still a major issue, and some of these stores are hemorrhaging money, right? We're talking about shrink in the standpoint of over 1% of your store's revenue could be theft, right? You could be losing that much merchandise due to theft. Pretty wicked in some of these cases. So that hurts the EPS line decently. It really does. Worth thinking about. From a revenue standpoint, that's what I'm more focused on. 54.64 billion expected, 3.9% increase. Now, how are they going to do that, right? We take a look here, and what's really nice about Costco is they do announce their monthly report as well. On a monthly basis, they tell you exactly how much they made. Now, in March, you know what they made? They made 21.71 billion. What did they make? And that was big because this was the first quarterly decline in a long time, over 4 years for Costco that they've seen a decline on a monthly basis. Sorry, not a quarterly basis, because they're going to grow this quarter. You want to know how I know that? Because the next quarter they posted a line of 1.4% growth. And that was a $17.85 billion line. Now again, you already see that that's going to balance it out here, right? So they're already going to be up. Just because this quarter as well, what I'm calculating, so based off their expected line of 54.64, all they have to do right now is put up 16 billion this month, which they will. They'll put up a line closer to probably 17, 18 billion. I would expect this one to be putting up a $55.5 billion line. Probably closer to, let's be honest, I think it's going to be over 56 billion. So I think it's between 55.5 and 56 billion in terms of the revenue standpoint. Let's see what they're able to do from that. I'm excited though. We've got Autodesk after them. Used the service back when I was in high school. Talked about it before. Um, AutoCAD, good time. Ulta Beauty, focused mostly on beauty products, still doing well. I can't tell you enough. Marvell, Workday, not a lot to say about Workday. I mean, come on now, it's all right. Deckers Brands, all right, get out of here, Deckers Brands. We've got The Gap. Surprised The Gap is around. Really am. I don't know how that's one of the companies that has existed. Um, I don't know. I guess because it's just clothing. I don't know. Um, but it's The Gap. Not just Gap, The Gap. RH, Domo, Oregato, Mr. Roboto, and Silvercorp. Then Friday, we're ending up with Booz Allen and Hamilton. That's right, they're getting a little too frisky, a little too much to drink, a little much sauce. Anyways, then we get Big Lots. I'll say it every time. There's no way Big Lots is still around. I refuse to believe it. The one in my where I grew up, it's gone. It's gone. Right, bankrupt. We're telling you. I don't know how they exist. Not a Offshore Partners LP, Canon, Diana Shipping. A lot of these shipping and oil companies right now, and Hibbett Sports. You know them. CNFH following them. That's what I got for you. You guys have a great one. I'm passing out as we speak, literally falling asleep at the wheel right now. Wait, I'm not driving. Maybe I am. You don't know.